Reducing insect problems. The most common problems of insect damage to seeds can be avoided by using the following simple methods. Wood ash. Coat the seeds lightly in wood ash and add more ash to the top and bottom of the seed storage container. Don't use ash from rubbish fires. Neem. Add a 1 centimeter layer of neem leaves at the bottom and top of the seed storage container. Bay leaves or guava leaves may also be used. Tobacco. Add 1 centimeter layer of tobacco at the bottom and top of the seeds. Only use old and dried tobacco. Gliricidia. Add a 1 centimeter layer of gliricidia leaves at the bottom and top of the seeds. Cold temperatures. In places where it gets very cold at night, place the seed container outside every night for 1 week. Bring the container inside again every morning. This will kill insects such as weevils. Salt. A small amount of salt mixed in with the seeds will help to control pest problems. Smoke. Smoke is a preservative and pest repellent. You can hang corn, seed pods, and even whole plants above a fire to dry, and at the same time this will provide protection from pests. Oil. Larger seeds can be coated with coconut oil to kill insect eggs. Pour a little coconut oil into a large container, add the seeds, cover the container, and shake until all the seeds are coated in coconut oil. Small seeds cannot be treated in this way. Using ash and tobacco to protect seeds during storage. Containers for seed storage. Just about anything can be used as a seed storage container. Keep the containers in a cool, dry, and dark place. Protect from animal disturbances and check the seeds fairly often to make sure there are no problems. Seed-saving containers can be made of woven bamboo, which has already been treated. You can coat the bamboo in tree resin, coconut oil, or wax and then dry in the sun. For more information about bamboo treatment, see Module 8, Forests, Tree Crops, and Bamboo. Tin cans and glass jars that have lids may also be used as seed-saving containers, as well as plastic bottles and old film canisters. But be careful because mice can eat through plastic. Plastic bags can be used, but only if there are no other containers available, and they need to be placed in another container to protect them from animal damage. A large container with a good lid can be used to store many small bags of seeds. Biscuit tins, old tin containers, and large plastic containers will work well for larger seeds. Metal drums are also good seed containers, but can be expensive. Blacksmiths can make storage silos. Silos can be used to store corn, bean, and rice seed in large amounts. If the storage containers are placed up high, wrap the container legs with a metal plate for protection against mice. Use all your imagination to trick mice. Don't let the mice trick you. Protecting seeds from animals. Live plant storage. Cassava, sweet potato, taro, and yam are all important food crops. The best way to store these seedlings for the next planting is to leave them growing in the ground and only use the seedlings when needed. Spices like ginger and turmeric are the same. If you need to store some roots, store them in animal-proof containers that have air holes, which are too small for mice to get through. This will allow air to pass through, which will help to prevent rotting. A light layer of wood ash will help to protect against insects and mice that will try to feed on the roots. Community seed-saving groups. Creating a community seed-saving group is a great way to share excess seeds and increase seed variety for every group member. Within this group, members can buy, sell, or trade seeds to introduce new plant varieties. A community seed-saving group is like a seed implanting material bank. The group collects and stores the best seeds and planting materials. These seeds are stored for the future, to grow, to trade, or to sell. The whole process of saving seeds and distributing them will be much easier by working within a group. 1. Seed exchange. Excess seeds can be exchanged with other people or groups. This will support increased plant variety for every person. 2. Seed and plant selection. Collect seeds from the healthiest, most disease-resistant plants or from plants within the community. Generally, only 5 to 10% of community crops need to be left for seed collection. Members who grow plants for seed collection can be given compensation by selling or trading those seeds within the group. Besides keeping group seed stock, it is important to find out how plants grow well. For example, suitable plant varieties, pest predators, amount of water and sunlight needed, and so on. Seed collection and drying. The task of collecting and drying seeds is easier and quicker if it is done within the support of the whole group. 4. A seed drying room. A seed drying room is a room where most of the seeds are dried, especially during the wet season. This room must protect seeds from rain and can use smoke or heat to dry seeds. Give special attention to the room temperature and make sure the room has good ventilation. 5. Seed storage. A large community room or an agreed place can be used to store seeds. Compiling containers for large amounts of seeds is much easier and less expensive if done through a community group. Permanent seed containers or silos can be ordered or made and can be used to fulfill the needs of the whole group. 6. Seed supply. All seeds that are saved by the group should be used wisely. The seeds should be distributed evenly among the group members so that every member has enough seed for their own land. Every member who receives seeds must give something in return to the group. This could be seed products, labor, manure, compost, land, storage containers, and so on. If there is excess seed, some can be kept in case of seed shortages during the next season. If possible, always save enough seed for one more crop season. Seed garden. A community seed garden can be made specifically for producing seeds. This garden would provide high-quality seeds because the seeds are taken from the best plants. This will also make it easier to reduce chances of cross-pollination. 8. Seed Implanting Material List. This list should include all materials that the group has available, such as seeds, plants, and planting materials. This list also provides information for people outside of the group who are interested in buying or trading. Other benefits of having this list include to identify the best place to grow each type of plant, to identify the differences in types of plants. It can be combined with other plant lists to form a district or national plant list. To assess what the community can produce and what needs to be introduced. To keep local plant varieties in the ownership of the community. If there are two or more types of the same plant, for example, tomato, write these separately as two different plants with different names. For example, round red tomato and bell-shaped yellow tomato. This is because different types will have different amounts of produce, different disease and insect resistance, different time of fruiting, and even different eating quality. The list includes plant name, like local name, Bahasa name, botanical or Latin name, if possible. B, plant description. C, plant size and shape. D, time of fruiting. How long after planting the seed will the plant produce fruit or leaves? E, consumption quality. Is the plant considered good to eat? F, susceptibility. What insects or diseases often harm the plant? G, uses. Different plant uses, for example, as medicine, building material, etc. Here's a sample. Plant name tomato, description fruit, size shape oval fruit, time of fruiting 3 months, consumption quality good, susceptibility fruit pests, uses food and natural pesticide. Plant name yellow passion fruit, description fruit, size shape vine, oval yellow fruit, time of fruiting 1 year, consumption quality very good, susceptibility pests attack seedlings, uses syrup shade plant. 9. Seed testing. Seeds can be tested to find out how many will grow. When testing seeds for personal use, place the seeds in a container of water. The seeds that sink are the good ones to be planted. The seeds that float are the bad ones and should be thrown out. Usually, almost all of the seeds will sink. For seeds that will be sold or exchanged, it is better to test them first to find out what percentage of the seeds will germinate and grow. This viability rate can then be written on the packets. There are a few methods to test this. One is to count a number of seeds, for example 50 bean seeds, then plant those seeds and count how many grow. For example, only 40 seeds grew. Divide the amount of seeds that grew by the amount of seeds that were planted to find the percentage of beans that grow. Like if 40 out of 50, then it'll be 0.8. This number is then multiplied by 100%, so the result is 80%. So the viability rate of these seeds is 80%. When conducting this test, it is important to make sure the soil mixture used is of the best quality. Take good care of the seeds and protect them from pests, such as snails and ants. The tests must continue until the seeds have passed the germination phase. The seedlings can then be planted in the ground. Counting seeds, planting seeds, counting seeds that grow, labeling seed packages. 10. Exchanging and selling seeds. The seeds can be packaged to exchange or sell within the community or between other groups and towns. Selling or trading seeds requires a consistent supply of seed. Planting materials can also be exchanged. Sold or bought. Make sure to test products before selling them to ensure that all products are high quality. 11. A community nursery. A community nursery can be made to support the common needs of the community group. Making a plant nursery. A plant nursery is essential in providing the best environment for plants when they are still young and fragile. Like children who need special attention when they are still young, so do plants. A healthy, strong seedling will grow to become a healthy, productive plant. The early stages of a plant's life will determine how well it will grow in the future. A nursery can be made any size you need. It can be small, the size of one garden plot with a coconut leaf roof, or large and managed by the whole community. Some benefits from making a plant nursery include planting, watering, and maintaining seedlings will be easier because everything you need is in one place. Another benefit, provide seedlings with protection from hot sun, hard rains, strong winds, and animal disturbances. Another one is allow seedlings to grow healthier because there is enough healthy soil and nutrients available. Plant nursery location. The nursery is the heart of the garden and needs daily attention. The nursery should be located close to the house and close to the garden. The nursery needs watering almost every day, so it is best if it is located close to a water source. Trees can be used as shade. However, be careful because too much shade can cause problems in the future and could make the seedlings weak. Legumes like sesbania and eucalyptus are good trees for a nursery because they will still allow some sunlight to pass through. Trees like mango and avocado are not very good to use because they are too dense. The best situation will allow morning sunlight in the nursery and provide shade during the middle of the day and afternoon, because this is when the sun is hottest. Protection from strong winds is also needed, because strong winds can slow seedling growth, but some gentle wind blowing through the nursery is very good for the seedlings. Designing and constructing the nursery. Every nursery is constructed differently to suit different needs and different construction materials. The following examples can be used, or you can come up with your own nursery designs. Make the nursery design so that it lasts as long as possible. The nursery should have different areas which receive different amounts of sunlight. If possible, there should be 3 areas, which are 4. 1. Small seedlings or fragile plants, which are still weak and need extra protection from hot sun and heavy rains. 2. Large seedlings which don't need a lot of protection, but do need enough sunlight. 3. Plants in the process of hardening before planting. These plants need full sunlight in preparation to face the conditions where it will later grow. Larger plant seedlings need 3 to 4 weeks to harden, and small vegetable seedlings need 1 week to harden before planting in the garden. Nurseries on top of a para bamboo frame that allows water to seep through, or waist-high table will provide protection from animals, such as snails, ants, and other insects. Also, nurseries will be easier to manage because you won't have to bend over all the time, which is not fun and puts stress on your back. Remember, think smart, not hard. Larger nurseries will be easier to construct and manage if a group of people are involved. This group could be a family, community group, school, or religious organization. Every person involved will benefit more from the work they do and will save on production costs. Nurseries can be made separately in different places, or all the seedlings can be grown in the same place and divided up when it is time to plant in the garden, or use a combination of both. Larger community nurseries can be made for reforestation needs. Constructing the nursery building. For the main frame, use strong, long-lasting materials like eucalyptus wood. Some types of long-lasting bamboo can also be used for the frame, but some types are not very strong and will rot within 1 to 2 years. Bamboo that is harvested and treated correctly will last longer. For more information about bamboo, see Module 8, Forests, Tree Crops, and Bamboo. Roof materials can be bamboo panel, woven palm leaf, or grasses tied in thin clumps so that some sunlight can still pass through. Fence materials can be bamboo, wood, palm leaf, or any other available materials, or you can even make a living fence. Smart ideas. In the mountains, seedling will grow better if they are raised off the ground. About waist high is best. This is because at night it becomes very cold. Cold temperatures can damage and even kill seedlings. Some other ways to deal with cold temperature are by planting some trees near the nursery or covering the ground with a layer of mulch made from coffee rice husks. About 10 to 15 centimeters is good. However, a layer of husk mulch could promote fungus growth in areas with warmer temperature. Seedling boxes and containers. Making containers from banana trunks. Seedling containers are easy to make and are good for growing many varieties of vegetable and tree seedlings. These containers need to be made deep enough for roots to grow long, not grow around in circles. Tree seedlings can be transferred to the containers when they are about 1 month old, about the time when 4 leaves have grown. Height and drainage is very important. Choose the size of container that fits your needs and the materials available. These containers are generally made of wood or bamboo. If using bamboo, the outside of the bamboo should be facing up to provide better water drainage. Many different containers can be used as seedling containers. All seedling containers should have drain holes at the bottom. Making containers from banana leaf. Seedling containers can be made from cans, baskets, used drink food containers, and other used materials. Coconut husks, bamboo. Banana leaves must be 1 finger width at the base to be able to hold water. Banana trunk bark. Woven leaves. Poly bags are the easiest containers for nurseries with lots of trees. They do cost money, but save a lot of time and energy. Soil mixtures. Soil mixture for seedling boxes and containers is different than soil in the garden. It is important to make sure that the soil used will allow plant roots to grow easily and water to drain easily, not stay stagnant, as well as supply enough ready-to-use nutrients for the seedlings. All plant seeds contain the food it needs for the first few weeks of growth. For best results, use different soil mixtures that the plant will need following this period. Soil for cuttings and seeds. Plant cuttings and seeds only need a small amount of nutrients during their first month of growth. In fact, too much nutrients will cause problems. Some examples of soil mixtures that are best for plant cuttings and seeds. 25% compost or dry manure. 25% soil. 25% sand. 25% composted rice, coffee husks. Soil for cuttings and seeds. Okay. Or 50% sand or composted rice, coffee husks, 25% compost or dry manure, 25% soil. Oh, these are recipes. All these percents add up to 100. Or 25% compost, 50% sand, 25% composted rice / coffee husks. A handful of wood ash can also be added to improve the soil and balance the soil's pH levels. Soil for long-term trees and plants. Plants in containers need more nutrients to grow, especially long-term plants. More compost or dry manure can be added to the soil mixture used. Some examples of soil mixtures for long-term trees and plants: 30% compost or dry manure, 30% soil, 30% sand, 10% ash or rice coffee husk, or 50% compost, dry manure, or rice coffee husks, 50% soil or sand. You can even make your own soil mixture. What is important is that we understand the functions of the following materials. Sand provides good drainage and aeration for easy root growth. Coffee rice husks also provide drainage and aeration and can be composted before being used in the soil mixture. Compost and dry manure provide nutrients. Don't use fresh manure because this could burn the seedlings. Liquid compost is good to use for plant seedlings over 1 month old. Smart ideas. To improve water drainage, fill the bottom of the seedling containers with a layer of small rocks. About a 3 centimeter layer is good before adding the soil mixture. Fungus problems. In the wet season, seeds and seedlings can become infected by fungus in the soil. This is a common problem, which can cause seeds not to grow and young seedlings to rot. If this happens, there are 2 solutions. Reduce the amount of manure and compost in the soil mixture. For garden soil, fungus and bacteria are beneficial, but for nursery soil, they are not. 2. Before planting the seeds, pour boiling hot water over the soil in the container. Boiling water will kill any fungus in the soil mixture. Wait till the soil is cool again to plant the seeds. Nurseries, planting seeds. Small seeds should be planted about 1 finger knuckle deep, while larger seeds should be planted about 2 finger knuckles deep. Plants which grow better in nurseries include cabbage, tomato, green vegetables, spinach, eggplant, capsicum, onions, chili, cucumber, and okra. Plants which grow well if the seeds are planted directly in the garden include pumpkin, corn, beans, peanuts, radish, sunflower, squash, and melon. However, almost all plant seeds will grow well if planted in a nursery. It is good to label each seed planted. On the label, write the name and date planted. This is very useful, especially for large-scale nurseries and community nurseries. It is best to try and transfer seedlings from the nursery to the garden at the beginning of the wet season. Estimate the time needed for seeds to grow ready to be planted in the garden. For example, vegetable plants usually need 3 to 4 weeks from seed to planting in the garden. Fast-growing trees need 2 to 3 months. Slow-growing trees need 3 to 5 months. Notice the picture for a small seed, his finger goes down a little bit, and then for large seeds, his finger goes down more. Planting seeds directly in the garden. Some types of plants, such as carrots, will grow much better if planted directly in the garden. However, these plants need special attention as they grow. Steps for direct planting. 1. Dig the soil well before planting seeds. If the soil contains too much clay, add some sand. 2. Water the ground. 3. Plant the seeds close to the surface. Then spread a thin layer about a ½ centimeter of sand or soil. 4. Water again. Then cover the ground for 1 week to keep the ground moist. 5. If there is no rain, water a little each day and then cover again. 6. When seedlings start to grow, remove the cover and continue to water every day or every 2 days for as long as 2 weeks. All vegetables and plants that are grown from root cuttings will grow better if planted directly in the garden. This includes sweet potato, potato, cassava, watercress, taro, garlic, ginger, and bamboo. Collect seedlings. Sometimes the easiest method for growing trees and even some vegetables and flowers is by collecting their young seedlings. These seedlings often can be found under large parent trees. The seedlings should be collected when they are as young as possible. About 5 to 10 centimeters in height is best. This will reduce stress and root damage caused by the process of removing them. The process of collecting seedlings must be done very carefully. Dig them up slowly. Don't just pull them out. If the seedlings are larger than 20 centimeters, prune them back to 2 to 3 leaves high. Water the seedlings first, or collect them after rain to reduce root damage and plant stress. Replant the seedlings into containers. Leave them in a shaded place for 1 week. Then put them in the nursery and handle them the same as the other seedlings. If you want to plant them directly in the garden, give them shade for 1 week after planting. For vegetable and flower seedlings, just 3 days will be enough shade. Plant propagation. There are many trees and plants that can be easily propagated. Some propagation techniques include using branch cuttings, roots, aerial roots, and grafting. Here it says choose the best branch. Branch cuttings. Step 1. Choose the best branch for propagating, usually aged about 1 to 2 years, with hard wood, brown color, but not too tough or old. Step 2. Cut the chosen branch with a sharp knife so that both ends of the branch are clean. Make sure there are at least 6 growing buds on each branch. These growing buds are where new roots and leaves will grow from. Cut the top of the branch at an angle so that water will not sit on top, which could cause fungus and disease. Step 3. Place the branches in a bucket of water until they are ready to be planted. Step 4. Prepare the planting area. This can be the plant nursery, containers, or directly in the garden. If planting in a nursery, use the same soil mixture used for planting seeds. Step 5. When planting, make sure that the growing buds face upwards. Also make sure that there are 3 growing buds below soil and 3 above. Step 6. Water every day until new leaves grow. Then water only twice a week. If planting directly in the garden, water every day if there is no rain and provide shade until new leaves grow. Root cuttings. Follow these steps to propagate plants using root cuttings. Step 1. Water the plant before cutting its roots. Step 2. Dig the soil, first from the side under the plant, then straight down through the plant to cut and separate the section of root that will be removed. Step 3. Remove the section. Be very careful not to damage the roots. Step 4. Carefully replant the plant root into the ground or in a container and water well. Marcoting aerial roots. Propagating plants by creating aerial roots is a commonly used practice. This method is good to use and quick. It creates new plants that, if planted from seedlings, could take 2 or 3 years to grow as large as the aerial root plant. The steps are: Step 1. Choose a strong, productive, and disease and pest resistant plant to make the marcotte. This is very important because the new plant that will grow will have the same characteristics as the parent plant. Step 2. Choose a healthy branch, positioned in the shade. Peel off the outside layer of bark, about 10 centimeters, middle finger length, of the branch. Step 3. Cover the part of the peeled branch with healthy soil and wrap it in plastic. Tie both ends of the wrapping, and if needed, the center as well. The soil inside the wrapping should stay cool, so if needed, use 2 layers of plastic. Step 4. Make sure the soil stays moist, and check it regularly. Leave for 3 months. Step 5. After 3 months, there will be a lot of roots growing. At this time, the branch is ready to be cut. Cut it below the marcotte. It is best to use a saw to avoid damaging these roots. Step 6. Carefully remove the wrapping. Put the roots in water until it is time for planting. Remove about 1/3 of the branches and leaves. Plant into a pot and place in a shady place until new growth starts. When this new plant is established, move it into a place that receives enough sunlight. When the tree becomes strong and hard, it is ready to be planted in the garden. Grafting. Grafting is a technique used for fruit and nut trees to improve quality, productivity, and save time between planting and harvesting. This technique is difficult and requires a lot of practice. A simple explanation is that a branch from one healthy and quality fruit tree is attached to the stem of another tree of the same type. For example, mango to mango, orange to orange, coffee to coffee. A full explanation would be too long to include in this book. If you're interested in learning more, information is available from the Government Agriculture Department or NGOs working in the agriculture field. That's non-government organizations. Soil improvement, water storage, organic fertilizers, mulching, and maintenance are all essential factors to increase production. Grafting is one important technique to help improve future quality and production, but it is only effective if these essential factors have already been addressed. Nursery maintenance. Watering. Plants in a nursery need watering almost every day. Be careful when watering young seedlings. Too much water at one time can kill young seedling because they are still very fragile. For established plants in containers, watering frequency can be reduced. However, check them regularly to make sure their soil does not become dry. If the soil is dry, as deep as 1 knuckle's length, the plant needs watering. Fertilizing. Seeds will grow stronger and faster if they are receiving enough nutrients. This will also make the plant stronger and healthier later on. Liquid fertilizer contains a variety of nutrients and is good to use for seedlings. However, don't use liquid compost for seedlings under 1 month old. Dilute liquid compost with water before use. The amount of water used to dilute should be more than what is normally used to dilute liquid compost for use in the garden. This fertilizer can be used once or twice a week. Plants in containers will suffer too much fertilizer if used in the soil mixture. It is better to give the plants only a small amount of fertilizer in the nursery and more when they are already planted in the garden. For more information about how to make liquid fertilizer, see Module 4, Healthy Soil. Transplanting seedlings. In the nursery, small plant seedlings will sometimes need to be transplanted into a larger container. The safest way to transplant them. 1. Water the seedlings well. 2. Dig the seedlings up using a small shovel or your hands. Don't pull the seedlings out by their stems. 3. If there are many seedlings together, separate their roots very carefully. 4. Immediately replant into another container with the roots pointing down. 5. Carefully water again. Weed control. Weed control is very important in nurseries. The weeds will compete with the seedlings for food and hence slow down their growth rate. Continually remove any weeds that grow around the seedlings. In a garden nursery, apply a thin layer of mulch to stop weeds from growing. This layer of mulch can be combined with a layer of plastic in between plants. Pest and disease control. Pests and disease can spread easily and quickly. The best solution is to prevent pest and disease problems before they occur by reducing plant stress as much as possible by protecting them from hot sun and allowing gentle winds to pass through the nursery. Using a suitable soil mixture. Watering enough. Fertilizing enough but not too much. Keeping seedling containers and boxes off the ground. Preventing insects from reaching the seedling boxes. For example, by placing table legs into a can of water to stop ants, snails, and slugs from climbing up. You can reduce the chances of pests or diseases spreading from plant to plant by combining a variety of plants together, or by keeping plants in smaller groups, rather than all together in large groups. If plants are attacked by pests or disease, you can spray them with a natural pesticide. For more information about natural pesticides, see Module 9, Integrated Pest Management. Change the conditions of the environment. For example, if plants are suffering from fungus or mildew, try providing more sunlight and wind. If other solutions don't fix the problem, remove and burn diseased plants. Smart ideas. Transplant seedlings to the garden before their roots grow too large for the containers. If plant roots grow too large, they will grow around in circles and get stuck there. This is called bound roots. It will slow down plant growth rate and can even cause plants to die. Plant roots are a very important part of a young plant. Healthy and strong roots will produce a healthy and productive plant or tree. There will always be more roots than leaves when the plant is still young. If plant roots do get stuck, you will have to trim off the outer roots to stimulate new root growth. If you trim off some roots, you should also trim off some branches. Make sure plant roots are not growing out of containers and into the ground. If roots are only just starting to emerge from containers, it is usually not a problem. But if too many roots grow out of the container and into the ground, they will need to be trimmed off, which can cause the plant damage or even kill it. To avoid this happening, place seedling containers far above the ground. Hardening plants. All plants that are grown in nurseries should be hardened before they are transplanted in the ground. This means preparing the plant for the conditions where it will later be planted. Hardening a plant could mean leaving the plant in the sun for a time, except for plants that need to be planted in shade, like coffee and vanilla. Hardening plants is very important because it reduces plant stress during planting. If the plant is not hardened first, It may stop growing or be stagnant for a few weeks, and could even die because of too much stress. Another technique to reduce plant stress is to provide the plants with shade for about 1 week after they have been replanted in the garden. The more plant stress is reduced, the better it will grow. This is the same as people.